Hello there, this is Levi from Masculine Intuition Readings, and today I want to take a gander at something I recently got in, and I'm going to be working with this a little bit more, but I really wanted to, I really felt compelled to show this to y'all. I don't really know why, but it's pretty cool. But I felt really compelled to show you guys this deck. It's an oracle deck by Arcana Sacra, which is a French company, a French publisher. I've been following them and I don't really actively look them up on Instagram, but sometimes you'll see stories and I was like, oh yeah, they exist. Let's check out their page, and I found this. And everything about this deck is everything I don't like in an oracle deck, and still I felt compelled to get it, and it's in another language. It's in French. Les Messagers d'Égypte, which translates roughly to the Messengers of Egypt. It's in a really big magnetic book box. This is the back, and what you get is you get a pretty hefty guidebook. You get the cards, and you get an extra little box inside. So let me take all this shit out so I can show you guys. So inside the box, there's this guidebook, which is really chunky. It's all in French, but it's very workable because what I do is and I may even show that on camera right now. What I do is I take my iPad, I tap on the Google Translate app, and I tap on the camera. All right, so what happens is I will point the camera at the text, and it kind of has to work. Let's see if it works. Yes. So Bennu is a majestic heron, which symbolizes the return of sunlight in the morning. His name means the one who sparks, or he who rises. And then you basically get the whole text, and you will see it shifting a little bit. The font up here is a little wonky, so it doesn't really pick up on weird fonts, but the regular guidebook font is actually great. So that's basically how I use it, because you do need the guidebook for this deck. Sometimes you will have decks where it's you can really use the cards intuitively, but unless you know everything about this Egyptian mythology, you really can't. So, but the good thing here is you have a page for notes. So what I'm thinking about doing, whenever I pull a card or a couple cards from this deck, I intend to write down the divinatory meanings right here. So you get this really gorgeous little box within a box. And this is really handy, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so I can show this better. All right, so you get this box within a box. It's really good quality. And then you have a little ribbon, a little illustration on the inside. Maybe there's even an illustration on, yeah, there's even an illustration on this side of the box. And I've kind of noticed this with all the Arcana Sacra releases. They're very, very good and very affordable. So you get these cards, which are standard tarot size. They're really good cardstock. They're really thick, really nice, not too thick. They don't have they look more glossy on camera than they are in real life. I would say it's a semi-gloss. And what I'm gonna be doing right now is I'm gonna zoom us in even a little bit more so I can kind of show you all the cards and do a little bit of a flip through. All right, so these cards are not in order because I've been playing with them, but it doesn't really matter. So this deck is all about Egyptian deities and what they stand for, what they mean, and how you can kind of use them for divinatory practices. It's a very cookie cutter standard oracle deck. What makes this one special is the art. So I'm not going to be pronouncing all these gods and goddesses names. I'm just going to be talking about the kinds of messages that I found within the deck so far. There's a good mixture of light and dark. It's not all high vibe, love and light. It's actually really great. Yeah, guys, I really am in love with it. It's all because of the like modern art style that I wish we would see more of. It's really amazing. It's a really nice like stepping stone if you're interested in learning about Egyptian mythology but don't know that much about it yet, like me. It's really amazing. It seems like the representations are mostly accurate, although I did see some YouTubers talking about how this author seemed to have used the Greek resources rather than the Egyptian resources themselves. So depending on which resources you use, you may find some discrepancies. However, I really love the way these gods and goddesses are depicted. I think the Egyptian pantheon gets paid dust a lot, even though it's really interesting, and I've been fascinated with Egyptian gods and goddesses since I was a little baby boy. I found the idea of having multiple deities within a religion to be super cool, super inspiring. And you know what's really funny? Even though it is getting a little bit darker here, these cards really pop. These illustrations pop. Even though they are pretty dark, there's a lot of usage of dark colors. They're really interesting. The artist's name is Iliad. There were talks about this being released in English as well, but the latest news I have on that is that the artist actually didn't know what was going on with the publisher. She was like, yeah, they kind of like said they would, but now I don't know where we're standing. You know, because people keep talking to her about it, but you know, like whenever you go mass market, you don't really have a lot of say in what happens. And here's that bringer of the dawn that I just translated. I do realize that you didn't like get to see the full page, but it's really difficult for me to show that to you guys. And last but not least, Set. Set is really really an intense god. So the cardstock is really good. The guidebook works great with all these translator apps. Google Translate is free and fine to get your divinatory meaning out of it. And the idea that I had was maybe to even make a little like fold out pamphlet myself to put in here, so I can use the deck without always having to bring this big ass box that doesn't even fit on the screen anymore now. So I can just use the deck in this little box, and I have this little fold out sheet with all the gods and goddesses alphabetized with the keywords behind it that are given in the book. So yeah, I just really quickly wanted to show this to you all. Why am I taking this away? I'm such a doofus. Les Messagères d'Égypte by Iliad, published by Arcana Sacra. Keep an eye on this company, like especially if you're not comfortable with having a French guidebook and having to go through the hassle of pulling out your Google Translate app, which I totally get, because this is another one of those Oracle decks where you are dependent on the guidebook to get messages, unless you're super aware of what all these gods and goddesses stand for. I do really like it. I think it's really special. It's an original work, but this company does a lot of tarot as well. So, you know, like for tarot decks, they have the Tarot of Gulliver, which is gorgeous. They have the Lumina Tarot, and they are coming out with the Star Child Tarot by Daniel Noel as a mass market, like affordable version. And I can't wait to delve into this a little bit more. Yeah, this is really interesting. It wasn't that expensive. I'd say if you're interested in Egyptian deities and you want to kind of like playfully get to know about them a little bit more, and you know, and divine with them at the same time, go get this from Amazon. It's freaking amazing. This has been Levi, and goodbye.